Amsterdam's canals hide more than you think. They are not merely decorative waterways, but the city's foundational text, a liquid archive written over 4 centuries. To walk these streets is to walk alongside a story that is constantly being told, in the lapping of water against stone, in the reflections that shimmer on the surface, and in the profound silent depths. Secrets sit in the water, and under it, not just the lost trinkets of daily life, but the very bones of the city's existence. Here, in the dark, cool embrace of the canals, lies a history that is both preserved and obscured. It's a story of ambition, of ingenuity, and of a constant quiet negotiation with the forces of nature. To read the city, start with the surface. The water acts as a mirror, reflecting the grandeur of the Golden Age. In these liquid canvases, the iconic gabled houses appear, their elegant facades shimmering and distorting with every gentle breeze. This is Amsterdam, as the world knows it, a postcard of serene beauty. But the reflections are fleeting, a beautiful illusion that hints at the more complex reality beneath. Then, look where the streets end, into water. This is the fundamental truth of Amsterdam. The city doesn't just sit beside the water, it is born of it, shaped by it, and lives in constant dialogue with it. Every street, every alley, every grand boulevard ultimately defers to the canals. They are the organizing principle, the original highways that dictated the flow of goods, people, and life itself. These rings were not accidents. Bolted into the very fabric of the bridges and quays, they are relics of a purpose-driven design. Each one is a testament to a time when the canals were not for scenic tours, but were bustling arteries of global trade. They were the parking spots for the barges and ships that carried the wealth of the world into the heart of the city. They were a blueprint for a city on the move. In the early 17th century, Amsterdam was bursting at the seams, fueled by the unprecedented wealth of the Dutch Golden Age. The city needed to expand, but it couldn't just grow outward, it had to be engineered. The result was the Grachtengordel, the concentric belt of canals that remains one of the most ambitious and successful urban planning projects in history. It was a masterclass in hydrological engineering, designed for commerce, water management, and defense. In the 1600s, water shaped every decision. The layout of the canals determined the value of the land. The wealthiest merchants built their grand houses on the Herengracht, the gentleman's canal. The width of a house was taxed, leading to the iconic narrow, deep, and tall structures that define the city's aesthetic. Every architectural choice was a response to the logic of the water. Warehouses faced canals like shopfronts for the world. These weren't just storage facilities, they were the engines of a global economic powerhouse. Spices from the East Indies, grain from the Baltic, textiles from across Europe, all were hoisted from barges directly into these buildings. The canal was the loading dock, the front door to a marketplace that spanned the globe. Gables spoke the language of success. They were the city's skyline and its social register. A simple step gable might belong to a modest craftsman, while an ornate neck gable, adorned with lavish sculptures, declared the immense wealth of a shipping magnate. They were advertisements of prosperity, carved in stone and silhouetted against the Dutch sky for all to see. Stoops and rollers told of daily labor. The hoist beam, or heisbalk, jutting out from the top of nearly every house, was not a mere decoration. It was an essential tool. Furniture, supplies, and valuable cargo were lifted up and through the large windows, as the narrow staircases were impossibly tight. The wear on the rollers and the scuff marks on the facades are the faint echoes of centuries of hard work. Bridges set the rhythm of commerce. With over 1,500 of them, they are more than just crossings. They are the punctuation in the city's long, flowing sentences. Their height and width determined the size of the ships that could pass, dictating the flow of traffic. Many were designed to open, their mechanisms a carefully choreographed dance that would halt the city above to allow the commerce on the water to proceed. Locks were the city's heartbeat. These powerful gates were the circulatory system's valves, controlling water levels, flushing the canals with fresh water from the IJsselmeer, and protecting the low-lying city from the threat of floods. The turning of a lock wheel was a moment of immense power, a deliberate act of human control over the ever-present water. Above, life flows as constantly as the water. The frantic commerce of the Golden Age has softened into a different kind of energy. The quays that once bustled with merchants and sailors now host cafes and book markets. The rhythm of trade has been replaced by the rhythm of daily life, yet the canals remain the city's central stage. Below, the city keeps its souvenirs. The canal bed is an anaerobic museum, a muddy, oxygen-poor environment that has preserved 4 centuries of discarded history. Every time the canals are dredged for maintenance, this submerged archive offers up its contents. Clay, pipes, Spanish pottery, wine bottles, lost tools. Each object is a miniature time capsule, a tangible link to a forgotten moment. Amsterdam stands on wooden piles. This is the city's most profound secret, the foundational paradox upon which everything rests. Built on marshy peat and clay, the ground itself could not support the weight of brick and stone. So, the city's builders looked down, driving millions of timber piles, entire forests of them, through the soft topsoil, thousands driven down to stable sand. Each pile, typically around 15 to 20 meters long, had to be hammered down until it reached a solid layer of sand deep beneath the mud. The Royal Palace on Dam Square, alone, rests on over 13,000 of them. This invisible forest is the true foundation of Amsterdam, a monumental feat of engineering hidden from sight. Time and tides test those bones. The pile's survival depends on a crucial condition. They must remain fully submerged, protected from the air that would cause them to rot. Fluctuations in the water table, the burrowing of marine organisms, and the sheer weight of the centuries all exert a constant pressure on this hidden infrastructure. The city's famous leaning houses are often a sign that these foundations are failing. Divers check what eyes can't see. Today, a specialized team of municipal divers and engineers are the custodians of this underwater world. They descend into the murky canals to inspect the foundations, assess the condition of the quay walls, and monitor the health of the city's structural core. Their work is a continuation of the centuries-old battle to keep Amsterdam standing. Old wood comes up like memory. When a pile is found to be compromised, it is sometimes extracted. This waterlogged timber, saturated with the history of the canal, surfaces like a relic. Scientists can study its rings to learn about the climate of the past, and its condition tells a story of the changing chemistry of the water itself. The city absorbs, then releases. The canals are not a static environment. They are a slow-moving system that swallows the evidence of life above. A dropped key, a tossed bottle, a lover's locket, they all settle into the silt, joining the layers of the past. The dredging process is a form of civic exhalation, bringing these forgotten stories back to the light. Under arches, whispers travel. The acoustics beneath the bridges are unique. Sound bounces between water and stone, carrying the rumble of a passing tram, the chime of a bicycle bell, and the fragments of conversation. For a moment, the sounds of the city are captured, amplified, and then released, becoming part of the canal's ambient score. Water calls the tempo, even now. Despite the hum of modern life, the pace of the city is still subtly dictated by the water. It encourages a slower, more observant way of moving. The flow of cyclists along the quays, the gentle drift of a tour boat, the patient waiting at an opening bridge, all are movements synchronized to the calm, persistent presence of the canals. Beyond the canals, secrets in the alleys. The grand public narrative of the canals has a counterpart in the city's more intimate spaces. Narrow alleyways branch off from the main waterways, leading away from the grand facades and into a quieter, more hidden version of Amsterdam. These passages are like footnotes to the main text, offering glimpses into a different kind of history. Hofjes offered refuge behind commerce. Hidden behind unassuming doors are the hofjes, or inner courtyards, originally built by wealthy patrons as charitable housing for the elderly. These tranquil gardens, surrounded by small almshouses, were sanctuaries of peace, tucked away just meters from the bustling commercial arteries. They represent a different side of the Golden Age, one of piety, community, and quiet contemplation. Doorways into quieter centuries. To step through the archway of a hofje is to feel the centuries fall away. The noise of the city recedes, replaced by the rustle of leaves and the scent of flowers. These spaces are living museums, preserved not for tourists, but for the residents who still call them home. They are a reminder that behind the public face of commerce, a private, domestic history has always unfolded. Tiles tell domestic stories. Inside the houses, another layer of history is written in blue and white. Delftware tiles, used to decorate fireplaces and walls, were not just for show. They were a practical way to protect against fire and damp, but they also depicted scenes of Dutch life, skaters on frozen canals, ships at sea, children playing games. They are intimate portraits of the world just outside the window. Paths fold back to water. No matter how far you wander into the labyrinth of alleys and courtyards, you are never far from the water. The paths inevitably lead you back to the edge of a canal, reconnecting the private, hidden stories with the city's grand, public narrative. The water is the anchor, the constant reference point in the urban maze. Everyday objects become markers. Along the water's edge, the mundane becomes meaningful. A single shoe, a forgotten book on a bench, a child's toy. They feel less like litter and more like props on a stage, each hinting at a small personal story that has intersected with the larger story of the canal. Reflections layer past on present. The water's surface is where time collapses. The reflection of a 17th century gable is momentarily broken by the wake of a 21st century electric boat. The image of a stone bridge that has stood for centuries is overlaid with the fleeting shadow of a passing airplane. The canals hold all these realities at once, a seamless blend of then and now. Stories pass quietly, step by step. The life of the city is a continuous procession. People cross the same bridges their ancestors crossed, walking over the same canals that have carried the city's lifeblood for generations. Each footstep, each turn of a pedal, is another small beat in the long, unfolding rhythm of Amsterdam's history. Above the surface, the city hums with routine. The morning commute, the delivery of goods to canal-side businesses, the chatter of tourists. This is the visible, audible life of Amsterdam. It is a city that works, a city that moves, a city that lives its life in full view, right at the water's edge. Work, coffee, conversations at the waterline. The relationship with the water has evolved. What was once a purely functional industrial space is now a social one. The waterline is the city's shared front porch, a place for connection, relaxation, and observation. To sit by a canal is to participate in the public life of the city. Homes float where barges once moored. The ultimate expression of this evolving relationship is the houseboat. These floating residences, lining many of the canals, have turned the waterways into neighborhoods. They are a modern adaptation of the city's aquatic heritage, a way of living not just beside the water, but on it. Below, the canals collect the city's forgetfulness. For every story consciously preserved above, 1,000 more are forgotten and sink below. The canals are the city's subconscious, a repository for everything that is dropped, lost, or thrown away. It is a messy, chaotic, and deeply human archive. Every year, thousands of bicycles rise again. The most famous residents of the canal floor are bicycles. An estimated 15,000 are pulled from the water annually. Whether victims of accident, vandalism, or simple carelessness, they are a uniquely Amsterdam artifact. Their retrieval is a strange, cyclical harvest, a modern ritual of loss and recovery, lost tokens, small dramas, sealed in silt. Alongside the bicycles are the smaller, more personal losses. A wedding ring that slipped from a finger, a coin dropped from a pocket, a key to a door that no longer exists. These are the quiet, intimate dramas of individual lives, sealed in the mud, waiting for a chance to be rediscovered. Night reveals a different map, light and hush. When darkness falls, the city transforms. The bridges, illuminated by warm lanterns, create chains of light that stretch across the black water. The reflections are no longer fleeting and distorted, but long, clear, and deep. The city's structure is redrawn in lines of light, and a profound quiet descends. On the stones, the city keeps its diary. The cobblestones, slick with rain or evening dew, glisten under the streetlights. Each stone is worn smooth by centuries of footsteps, cartwheels, and bicycle tires. They hold the physical memory of the city's movement, a textured diary of every journey taken along the water's edge. Look closely, and Amsterdam tells you everything above and below. It speaks in the grandeur of its gables and in the rust on a mooring ring. It speaks in the laughter from a canal-side cafe and in the silence of a submerged forest of piles. The city is a conversation between its visible beauty and its hidden strength, a story written on water, stone, and silt. You just have to know how to read it.